enough, Bartomeu. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gab.
Right, so maybe rumors of Liverpool's demise are somewhat exaggerated, to paraphrase Mark Twain. They beat Leipzig 2-0. They advanced to the quarterfinals on aggregate 4-0. Jules, will we go back and remember this game as they won, where they turned everything around? Or is it just that you're 2-0 up, easier to play when you're 2-0 up?
And they gave you a lot of spaces, and you defended well on the long balls that they kept playing towards Poulsen. I was like, wow, okay. And we will see on Monday night at Wolverhampton against a team that sits so deep and defends so well, what are you about? But certainly this is a game that can only bring you confidence anyway and momentum. The big news is Fabinho in midfield and how different everything else looks. Not just your intensity in midfield and that press and being aggressive, but also protecting your back four far more than anybody else has done this season. So Fabinho plus Diogo Jota, who's just come back from injury and already looks like the player he was before the injury. There's a lot of positives from that night in Budapest. By the way, they've scored more goals at home in Budapest in 2021 than at home in Liverpool.
Maybe they should move there for the year.
Yeah, for the Premier League as well.
Things.
Gab, it's the first Champions League quarterfinals in 16 years since 2005 without either Cristiano Ronaldo or Leo Messi. Should we get used to this? And has the torch now finally being passed to Julien and Erling?
Well, the GOAT torch, no.
Too early.
The hype torch is getting there. Look, I think it's fantastic that we're going to have. I remember I love bringing this up because I wrote about this 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't done Mbappe and Holland haven't done anything. What are you saying? Like, no, this is cool. This could be the rivalry that defines the next decade, which is really cool. Or it might not be. Yeah. They may just end up being very, very good players, or one may be, let's just appreciate this. But I tell you what, I don't think Ronaldo and Messi are done. Do you?
No, I don't.
I think they'll still be at big clubs next year. And the other thing is, what it means is Barcelona have been in the Champions League quarterfinals for 16 consecutive years. This is a team sport, right?
Yeah.
Cristiano won the Champions League 3 years ago at Real Madrid. We can't hang this all on them.
No.
I think whatever happens, I think they'll still be at Champions League clubs and clubs that are likely to do well, and we'll see them again. I mean, I think, Kylian and Erling can wait a couple years.
Yes, definitely.
Speaking of Kylian, Dortmund draw 2-2 with Sevilla and advance on aggregate 5-4. Jules, two things. One is they nearly throw it all away at the end.
Completely.
And B, that VAR situation was a lot of fun, right?
It was a lot of fun.
Correct.
Correct. If we start with that, it's a goal disallowed, scored by Erling Haaland because he barges out Fernando. But then the referee also looked at an incident just before where clearly the shirt was pulled in the box, so gives a penalty from it. Erling Haaland takes the penalty. It's saved by Bunu, but turns out that Bunu was off his line. Then Bunu, by the way, after he saved the penalty, had a bit of a trolling towards Haaland, but then the penalty is retaken. Haaland scores this one, then trolls himself Bunu. So the bit of argy-bargy coming after that, because obviously Ocampos and all the South American from Sevilla didn't like that either. It was just great. The drama was great. At the end, it looked like Dortmund were not sure what to do, and then the pressure came on from Sevilla. Papu Gomez came on, and I thought had a good impact for the last 20 minutes, like he did. Luke de Jong as well. And suddenly it looks like almost a third goal from Sevilla would have taken that to extra time. Yeah. It would have been another drama.
At that point, all my money would have been on Lopetegui. By the way, this is not a good Sevilla team. They've been struggling. Honestly, if you're Dortmund, this game, you're through, great.
Yeah.
But this should keep you up at 90 grand. We still got a long way to go. And on the VAR decision, I have no problem with it. The ball never went out of play. These are the rules. Live with it.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
say, oh, why couldn't they just give the goal instead rather than faffing about? Well, it's not faffing about because it's not like, because it wasn't a goal. It's a penalty.
Exactly.
Two different things. Would have been a great goal, by the way.
Yeah. Jude Bellingham, by the way, take a bow, 17 years of age, and what an incredible performance. Joachim Löw has announced that he will step down as the Germany manager after Euro 2020-21. Gab, you must be shocked.
Yeah, nobody could have seen this coming.
No. It's a year before the end of his contract, though.
Yeah, I'm assuming that the reason this news hasn't come out, say 3-4 months ago, is that all the lawyers were sitting there and kind of, dealing with, dealing with what would happen next. It gives the German FA some time to look at it. Jurgen Klopp has ruled himself out unless he gets sacked, which I don't think he will be sacked. Germany, it'll be interesting to me because there obviously still is a Rangnick party.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think, though, they're going to go for somebody internally.
Stefan Kuntz.
Somebody who's good. Stefan Kuntz would be, I think, logical.
Yeah, under 21 manager.
Manchester City beat up Southampton 5-2. Jules, I feel like we should talk about how like De Bruyne has scored 2 goals and so on, rather than Pep being grumpy about VAR, like it says here.
We can do a bit of both. You know, De Bruyne scored 2 was great because since coming back from injury, he hadn't really hit the highs that he had before, which is maybe normal. Riyad Mahrez was fantastic too. I think when Bernardo Silva plays, it makes a big difference, but that's my opinion. But Pep was grumpy because VAR didn't, I don't know if they didn't see is the wrong expression, but there was a clear penalty for City that neither the referee, John Moss, or the VAR flagged up, gave, whistled, and Pep went mad afterwards. And maybe
we can't blame this one on Dean and his friend, right? Or
clearly
or these other tyranny.
This time it's just how? Why? Did they think it's because the referee said no, I saw it, but didn't think it was a pen? So
I don't know. But City extend their lead into United. And by the way, big deal that De Bruyne is scoring again, and contributing in that way too.
Yeah. For years, there's been talk of Manchester United appointing a sporting director to be like all the rest of the football world. Gab, now they have both a director of football and a technical director as well. What's going on?
Yeah, so the technical director is Darren Fletcher. I think most people have heard of, former midfielder. The director of football is John Murtagh, who... what's funny about this guy is Mark Ogden, who obviously, close eye on United. This guy Murtagh came there with Moyes, kept telling me, they'll probably appoint him. He told me this a year and a half ago. Right, so they've been looking for a director of football for yonks. I have no idea, and then they go and I don't know, and then they appoint somebody internally. So by all accounts, I don't know Murtagh. I've met Darren Fletcher a few times. I think a lot of people speak very highly of him, but then again, he's been there all along. I think the interesting bit is going to be, since he was there and he was part of the decision-making process before, is it going to be a top-down thing? Where Murtagh's going to be and Fletcher are going to be in charge and their world will be final, or will it still be everything by committee and let's see we're feeling things and Nicky Butt and Solskjaer and blah blah blah.
Yeah, interesting.
But
it's a step in the right direction, though, right?
Yeah, Manchester United. Welcome to 1980. Atletico Madrid bounced back from the draw in the Madrid derby to beat Athletic Bilbao 2-1. 12 games to go, 6 points clear of Barca, 8 points clear of Real Madrid. We're more confident for Cholo to make sure he didn't screw this one up, right?
Do you know what? This was the most important game in Atletico Madrid's season. Domestically, not if you take Champions League apart. Because they're 1-0 down, they're not playing well, they've only won one of the last 4, one of the last 5 or something. They're not going through a good time at all. And yet they come back and win these games with the 2 players that have been their outstanding performers this season, Marcos Llorente and Luis Suarez. And I just thought the character they showed to come back and win this was huge for the season. The European Club Association, the ECA, and the European Football Leagues met this week to talk Champions League reform. Gab, what was the outcome?
So the main sticking point right now, so basically everybody's on board with this. It's a 36-team Champions League. We're going to have the so-called Swiss model, which I don't think is bad. But we find out it was, and Daniele outed Edwin van der Sar and say it was Edwin van der Sar's idea.
Yeah, that's good.
So, but one of the main issues, obviously, is that they're going to play more games. Yeah. We'll have 4 more match days, which obviously is going to annoy clubs domestically, as Crystal Palace found out, whatever. The main sticking point is those extra 4 spots. Do you allocate them based on how they qualified domestically, or do you do it based on their historic record? And obviously, the big clubs want historic record.
Yeah.